What's up, college football fans? Welcome back to an all new episode of the Cover 2 College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Smithson, joined as always by my co host, the Okie Longhorn himself, Dalt. As usual, brother, first and foremost, how we doing tonight?
Man, we are in football season. I know we got week 0 games that let's just get that out of the way right now. That was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. That is the complete reason why we should not have games on soccer fields. We've had 3 years where the people have complained about the fields after every game, and we're just like, "You know what? We're going to do it again." But no, week 0 had a lot of good games. Crazy upset. Stanford goes to the Big Island and loses. But now it's go time. It is the most electric week 1 that I can recall in my 34 years of life. But it's a crisp 68 degrees in August in Oklahoma. So it's got to be football weather.
Yeah, uh, it's been nice all week here, actually. Being someone that works outside, and you do your fair share of stuff outside as a firefighter as well. And we guys like us, we can really appreciate some nicer weather. Once you get into July, August, and even September here in Oklahoma, it can get brutal at times. But yeah, Dalt, I mean, it's here, man. We got, like you said, week 0 underway. Obviously, it's done and gone. Um, Probably the most exciting thing about that was Avery Johnson's dad and brother brawling in the streets of Dublin. We're not going to talk about that because it's kind of irrelevant, but obviously the big game of that weekend was Kansas State, Iowa State. Iowa State came away with a big, massive opening week conference win. Kind of our Big 12 champion prediction of Kansas State took a little bit of a hit, and we're not even to week 1 yet, Dalt. It's not great, but we're here tonight. Got week 1 actually kicks off tomorrow on Thursday, and we've got 5 games that we're going to talk about. Uh, 2 or 3 that are just, it's as good a, like you said, as good a week 1 as we've ever seen. I mean, we've got 3 top 10 on top 10 matchups, a couple other good games we're going to talk about. We'll get into super dog and maybe a bold prediction, and then we're actually going to finish this episode off with our playoff predictions. Give our Not really going to go into super depth. We're just going to give our 12 teams and see how it unfolds. We didn't do so great last year. I think did we both get like you maybe got 7 of 12. I think I got 6. It was
Yeah,
something like it wasn't very good for
but we
for
all we all we all had a team in there that was just
yeah,
like we looked
bad.
like we didn't know what the hell we were talking about. I think I had Kansas, BP had Florida State,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't remember which team.
I don't remember who I had in mind. I
We
think I
we
had
we all we all
OSU. I
we
had
all
yeah,
had Oklahoma.
we
We
had
all had
OSU.
Oklahoma State winning the Big 12 last year.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, that was bad
Wow!
too. Whew.
Wow!
Maybe all these guys on TikTok, Dalt, are right. Maybe we need to shut up.
Who knew? Who knew that our one claim to fame? All we had to do was say that Arkansas. All I had to do was say Arkansas wasn't going to be good at football, and we get the most views out of all of our videos combined in one view.
oh yeah. Yeah,
thank you, Arkansas fans, for
it's
being the lunatics and delusional as you are.
yeah, it's a good week on social media for us, Dalt. We posted several videos. We've gotten a lot of traction. We obviously appreciate all the likes, comments, everybody, whether you tell us we suck or you enjoy the take that we make. We appreciate all the interaction. We say that all the time. But it's been fun, and it's only going to get better. We're right here on the precipice of it, Dalt. So, I mean, really, I guess without further ado, we won't have to bury the lead too much here. I mean, we can kind of get right into things. We have our first game of the weekend is actually a Friday night game, and it's a little SEC Big 12 action. The Auburn Tigers, Dalt, are heading to Waco to take on the Baylor Bears in what a lot of people are talking about this game. It's obviously two teams that are not ranked, but you have I think two programs that are kind of like not Baylor, maybe not so much, just because it's just not as serious there as it is at a place like Auburn. But Dave Aranda has been so up and down. He has won a Big 12 championship, and he's been really bad. And then you have Auburn and Hugh Freeze, and what is it, year three now? You have kind of the toss-up situation at quarterback. It's going to be Jackson Arnold that gets the start, obviously, I think, and you just don't really know what you're getting there. But Auburn comes in here as a 2.5 point favorite, Dalt, and I mean, we're not super high on Auburn, and we really weren't super high on Baylor. But we were looking for a fifth game, and this was about the most interesting one. I mean, what do you make of this matchup?
What this is going to come down to, and I know Baylor is really excited about what they have at quarterback in the Sawyer Roberts kid, but this is going to come down to, can Baylor's defense slow down Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton one on one? Because if you put safeties over the top of these two guys, because they can both take the top off, and if you put Cam Coleman one on one with any corner that Baylor has, it turns from a 50-50 ball to about a 75-25, 80-20 ball. So if
Yeah,
you're going to put safeties back out of the box to cover getting the top blown off, then you've got to worry about what is always going to be a good run game from Auburn. They like to hang their hat on the run game and shot plays. So can Baylor's defense do that? I don't think so. To me, Baylor really needs this to turn into a track meet. And unfortunately for you, Auburn's defense isn't going to be terrible. So I got Auburn here minus 2.5. I would have liked this at -7 even.
really.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn here because I don't. I definitely would say I know more about Auburn than I do Baylor. Um, like you said, the quarterback there at Baylor, a lot of people like him, especially as far as like NFL guys, even. But we talked about it in the SEC preview last week, Dalt. If we felt solid or just I wouldn't even say average, but just slightly above average about quarterback at Auburn, this is a team that I think we would probably say has a favorable enough schedule to make a run at the SEC championship. And if they get what they, I mean, hope to out of Jackson Arnold, I would say they still are. But you're absolutely right with the Singleton kid and Coleman, which Singleton he transferred in from Georgia
Georgia
Tech.
Tech.
Yeah,
Yes.
uh, really good player last year for them, and that was in a system that they didn't throw it around a whole lot. Never have there at Georgia Tech, but you have two dudes. And so, I mean, you just think if we can just get them the ball, probably going to be all right. And when I look at this game, I tend to agree with you on like you look at the defense for Auburn. I think that's kind of the difference here. I think that they're better than Baylor, even though you have Dave Aranda, who is a former defensive coordinator. That's what he's typically known for. And I just don't get a whole lot from Baylor being at home. McLean, it's been good at times, but I'm sure they're going to be amped up. It's Friday night game. It's kind of the only thing going. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to be an environment that you can just walk into and think this is nothing, but Auburn's used to playing in the SEC. Like, this is
Yeah.
not. It's just not going to compare. Like,
If
let's just be honest.
if 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 going to Bryant Denny Stadium didn't prepare you to go to McLean Stadium, I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to agree with you here. I don't know that I'd agree with you if it was more than a touchdown, but I like Auburn here by at least three. So you got them at 2.5. I take the Tigers at 2.5. I think this, I could see them winning by a touchdown, maybe by 10. You could probably talk me into it, but it honestly wouldn't shock me either, Dalt, if they go in there and lay an egg and Baylor beats them at home. Like I
No,
just I can't say that I would be just blown away. So
no, and literally all Jackson Arnold, all the transfer. I forget his name. I looked at it a minute ago and I forgot his name already. Or Deuce Knight, whoever's playing quarterback, you just have to be this much better than Peyton Thorne. Literally, you just have to be this much better, and that's it.
Right. Okay, so I'll give us both Auburn minus 2.5 on that one, and I don't have a whole lot more on that game, Dalt. So we'll move into our next game of the weekend, and this brings in our first top 25 team. Not a ranked on ranked matchup, but we get the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on Florida State, and this game is in Tallahassee. So you're kind of getting away from Alabama if the old Nick Saban not playing actual road games out of conference situation. With it, he never did. They
Always
always
played the
always found
neutral
it
site
a
games.
neutral site in some way, shape, or form. That's just, and hey, can't blame the guy for it. But they are going on the road to Tallahassee, coming here to ranked eighth in the country, breaking in a new, not brand new, but new to Alabama in that system, quarterback in Ty Simpson. And Florida State's interesting to me. I know they weren't as much to you in our ACC preview. I like them a little bit more than really I think a lot of people. I don't hear much of anybody talking about Florida State, but Bama comes in here, Dalt, 13 and a half point favorites on the road. So I think I might be in the minority of liking Florida State. There's a reason for that. Obviously, these odds makers they are not high on Florida State either. You go in somewhere as a 13 and a half point favorite against a team like Florida State. Is Bama that good, or is Florida State not going to be very good? What do you think of this one?
I should probably maybe should have done a little bit more digging on Florida State in the preview. Did not realize Squirrel White was a Florida State Seminole
Yes, sir.
or Deuce Robinson from USC.
Yes, sir. They
Interesting.
they did a lot of work in the portal, brother.
But the good news about my take for Florida State in the preseason is they're not going to be able to block Alabama.
You might be right.
I mean, the Castellanos kid is going to be running for his life. Thank God he can run
Hey, now, hey,
because
careful talking about people running for their life, Dalt. Careful. Don't want to be making people mad talking about offensive line now. Come on.
anyways, callback to Arkansas fans. Did you know they're going 12, 10 and 2?
Yeah, yeah. 9-3. I heard the floor.
Yeah, yeah, the floor. But that's what it's going to come down to. Where was Florida State bad last year? They were soft at offensive line and defensive line. Teams had their way with them. And you're going to have to play a lot of quick game and hope Squirrel White can break something. But at the end of the day, I just don't I don't see you getting enough stops. Like if you try to make this attract me, because you're not going to hold Bama down. Ryan Williams is going to get free. I know they lost Jam Miller, but Alabama has always had really good running backs. The offensive line wasn't great last year, but it didn't have to be great when you have Milrow doing what he can do with his legs. That's going to be the one true test is if Alabama can push around Florida State's front seven, and I think they can. I think they're going to be able to run the football, and then that's going to open up Ty Simpson being in second and shorts, third and shorts, to really move the chains and hit some of them explosive plays that are going to happen. So I'm going to take Alabama here. The two touchdowns is scary, breaking in a new quarterback on the road at a place like Florida State, but I just don't I don't see I don't see Florida State putting a lot of points up.
Yeah, man, how good was Alabama's defense last year? It wasn't great,
No, it
right?
wasn't
It
great.
wasn't bad. But what and maybe this is stupid to go this direction, but what did they kind of struggle with? I feel like, and it's kind of something that Saban's teams always kind of struggled with a little bit, and it's obviously not him anymore. But
The mobile quarterback.
I feel like a mobile quarterback gave them some issues. You saw it at times throughout the season, and then really I didn't think their secondary was that good a year ago. I mean, you saw that game against Georgia. They get a huge lead, and I mean, you get let a guy like Carson Beck, who he's obviously a good quarterback, but and he just picks them apart. And they didn't tackle very well, and so I don't. I would not, in my wildest dream, pick Florida State to win this game. But um, Mike Norvell's been really good in openers at Florida State. He had those two games against LSU in 23 or 22 and 23.
And
They
also
won both of
Georgia
those
Tech
games. Now,
last year.
now, granted, yes, you last year it just was not good. But I like some of the pieces that they've put together. I talked about this in the ACC preview. I really like the Castellanos kid. I mean, I think the dude's just a gamer. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He seemed that way at Boston College. He made some really good plays for them, and I just think he may be able to keep Florida State within 10, like 10 to 13. I just don't, and I could be wrong. Bama could go in there and just blow them out, but Florida State, I think, underwent some stadium renovations, and I believe that's all done this year. And so, like, you got to think that
They
that
added to their upper deck last year, didn't they?
I don't know exactly what they did, but they did some stuff to I can't, the name is escaping me, but
Bobby
it's
Dowd?
not. No, what is it?
No,
It,
that's
it
that's
it's irrelevant. Doak Campbell. I knew it was Doak. I
yeah.
was thinking Doak Walker, but I knew it wasn't Doak
No.
Walker. Doak Campbell Stadium.
Bobby Dowd's Virginia Tech, isn't it?
No, Bobby Bowden's Florida State, but
No, Bobby Dowd Stadium.
Bobby Dowd. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, no, that's Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech. What are we talking about?
I don't know. We're
We're off
so
the
off
rails
topic.
here. We're off the
We're
rails.
we're everywhere.
It's not a night game, which helps Bama. Not that they probably need it, but I'm going to take Florida State just because I like Florida State. One of the few. I'm going to ride it, see where it goes. I may look like an idiot. There's probably a pretty good chance of that. It happens a lot, but give me Florida State. I like Castellanos. Keep it close. And I just think Alabama's going to have a little bit of growing pains. People seem to think that there's a lot of people picking Bama to like win the national title, win the SEC. I'm just not there in year two with DeBoer and a quarterback that I know I think was a 5-star, but I don't know how excited are we about Ty Simpson.
He doesn't
I
move the
I,
needle, but
I just don't know. We'll see. I could be proven wrong, and I no ill will towards Bama. I think Florida State keeps it within 13, so I'm going to take Florida State here, Dalt, plus 13 and a half. We'll move on. Third game. This is our first top 10 matchup of the weekend, Dalt. We are heading down to Coral Gables at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. Number 6 Notre Dame going on the road, taking on the Miami Hurricanes, who we both think are massively overrated at number 10. Neither of us are really high on the Hurricanes this year. Notre Dame comes in here as a 2.5 point road favorite, Dalt. Is this
this ain't
obviously
2000. This ain't 2001 Miami.
yeah. Yeah, we got the old school Catholics versus convicts matchup here. But no, this is not your father's Miami. And frankly, I like Notre Dame, but I don't know that I'm just crazy high on Notre Dame. But this team coming off the heels of a national championship appearance. What do you make of this one?
I don't love CJ Carr. We haven't seen anything from him, but I don't love having that inexperience at quarterback from kind of not a big wave quarterback like Notre Dame should have. With that being said, when you have guys like Jordan Faison, Jaden Greathouse, oh, and you can turn around and hand it to the best running back in the country,
Yeah.
life gets real simple for young, inexperienced quarterbacks. And an offensive line that kind of was young last year and kind of grew into their own. I know they were a lot of injuries last year to that Notre Dame offensive line, but the young guys played and they played well. But for me, this comes down to, is it make or break for Mario Cristobal at Miami?
I was just about to bring that. I was going to bring that up right before I kind of asked you to get into it. I don't know that it's like a you could get fired year just because they did have a good year last year. Like they were a Syracuse loss away from being a playoff team. Like realistically, they would have been in the ACC championship. They probably would have beat SMU. I think we would, you know, I I think they probably would have. Um, because I mean, they just Miami couldn't play defense last year. They couldn't stop a nosebleed.
No,
I mean, you go into Syracuse and I mean, and so you have to think
they should have lost to Cal last year.
is yeah. I mean, is the defense going to be better? And so I don't necessarily think it's a make or break year for Cristobal, just because of the year they had a season ago. But I do think there is pressure, and you bring in a quarterback like Carson Beck, expectations are not
Who has not played well under
no
pressure.
no and obviously like expectations are high. Like you had the best quarterback in college football a season ago, and you had a really good run, just come up a little bit short. Um, he was the number one overall pick, right? Was he?
Yes,
So
yes.
like, I mean, you're replacing that. That's not easy, and I think um, Cam Ward is much better than Carson Beck, in my opinion. So you just aren't getting the same thing there. But I think Miami's going to be a decent team. I don't think they're going to be bad, but I
I
just
mean,
think
you don't
when
have
you
any
look at
lightning rods on the
no,
offense.
and you look at the in the trenches, like is Miami's offensive line going to be able to hold up to the Notre Dame front seven? That if there's one thing Marcus Freeman has done at Notre Dame, like that defense has been borderline elite while he's been there. So you know, I just don't see Miami having a lot of success offensively. And you add that to the fact that how much better is the defense going to be? And so is Jeremiah Love going to run all over that field on Sunday night? I think there's a decent chance. Like Notre Dame always has a good offensive line. So I just don't have a lot of faith here in Miami. And I'm taking Notre Dame minus two and a
I,
half. This is
I am as
honestly
well.
pretty easy pick for me, I
Yeah,
think.
I am as well. Would I dare say this is going to look a lot like the Indiana Notre Dame playoff game?
Yeah. I mean, kind of ugly.
Yep,
Not
kind of
not
ugly,
real
but
not
the run
not
game
pleasant to
just
watch really, unless you're a
yep,
Notre Dame fan,
yep, because you're winning by 3 scores.
which kind of sucks because it is like the primetime game on Sunday night. This one is
Yeah,
a Sunday night game. So yeah, I mean it's not great, but I don't know. I think Miami's overrated. I don't think they're going to be bad, but I think this could be a three, maybe four loss team. Like I really do. So we both like Notre Dame at minus two and a half. We'll move on, Dalt. Kind of get here into what we would probably call the meat and potatoes of this, we'll just call it the meat of this week one slate. These are without question to me. These last two games we're going to talk about, the two best games, um, just crazy storylines all around them. And so the first one we're going to talk about is LSU going to Death Valley, which doesn't make sense when you say it, but it does. So we're going to find out who the real Death Valley is.
it's
Uh,
wrong, but it's right.
yeah. So you heard that correctly. LSU is going on the road to Clemson, South Carolina, and they are taking on the fourth ranked Clemson Tigers. LSU comes in here ranked ninth in the country in our preseason AP poll. And we got 3.5, Dalt. Clemson minus 3.5. The ever elusive Clemson pick. What do you make of this one, Dalt? We both like Clemson a whole lot.
We do. We're very high on Clemson. If if you told me LSU had a top 30 defense this year. How would that make you feel about this game? It would make you feel completely different than how we feel right now, not knowing if this defense is going to be Swiss cheese like it was for the past two seasons. You would expect it to be better. You get Harold Perkins back. You have Whit Weeks, but two guys don't make a defense. It has to be good at every level. And I don't want to say every play it has to be good, but you can't have as many holes as they've had in the defense. If Clemson can't run the football, because I have no idea who their running back is. Looks like a grad transfer. Adam Randall is who I'm looking at here, or a redshirt face freshman. Like, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Cade Klubnik that he hasn't had before. Yes, his three weapons are elite in TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco, and Antonio Williams. But if you can make a team one dimensional, then you have your opportunities to do that. And on the same hand, if you can run the ball, if you're LSU, it's not like Clemson was just spectacular against the run last year. That's was their Achilles heel. So if you can get that going and open some stuff up for these new weapons that you brought in the portal, you have your opportunities. I just don't see it. I don't see LSU's defense making a big enough jump to slow down this Clemson offense enough to allow the LSU offense to make the plays it needs to make to win this game. And you're going on the road. Like, not enough can be said about going on the road and playing somewhere else. So I like Clemson here minus 3.5. I could be completely wrong here, but I don't trust the LSU defense as much as I do Dabo to shore up the Clemson run defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn here because I like both of these teams. I actually have both of these teams winning their conference championships. I really like LSU. I think Garrett Nussmeier is one of, if not the best, returning quarterbacks in the SEC. However, and I was reminded of this just earlier watching, just scrolling TikTok, see a lot of college football stuff, obviously. He's been very turnover prone. I mean, in a lot of just the worst times. That A&M game a year ago, Alabama was bad. He had a few against Oklahoma. Granted, that didn't matter. I just remember that just from watching the game. One of them resulted in a touchdown, actually, a defensive touchdown.
South
And
Carolina.
South Carolina, same way. So he's had some moments, and you just have to think this game's an early game, right?
No, this is the nightcap, I
Is it
think.
is it a night game?
I think it's the night
I'm
game
I'm pulling it up here. Let's see. Let's see.
because I think
Yeah, 6:30. Yeah,
because I
night
was
game.
going to say because I think Texas and Ohio State is the
Yeah, 11 a.m.
11 a.m. game, but
Yeah,
it's on Fox, and I believe the ABC game
it's
is
Bama, Florida
Syr-
State.
is it Bama, Florida State, or Tennessee, Syracuse?
It's at 2:30 is Bama, Florida State. I was
Well,
just looking it
that's
up.
what I was going to say. The 2:30 one is Bama, Florida State, but the 11 o'clock game on ABC or
Oh yeah, yeah,
ESPN is
yeah.
Tennessee,
Yeah.
Syracuse.
Okay.
So yeah,
I
you're
yeah
it's a nightcap. It's a night game in Death Valley.
yeah. And so just with that, I mean, it's 3.5. So I don't love that because honestly, like I don't know. You just have seen Clemson make strides. They obviously took your Longhorns to the brink last year in Austin in the playoff. You kind of felt like that was like they win the ACC and like that game Texas had kind of pulled away and they clawed back into it and it was kind of just like essentially kind of a breakout game for some of those wide receivers. And you bring those guys
Yep.
back and Cade Klubnik, who we probably would both agree is probably one of the best and then obviously most experienced quarterbacks in college football this year. Um, I just feel like he's gotten better and better each year, honestly. So I like Clemson here as well. I think they win this game by a touchdown. I think, the defense is going to be unbelievable, that defensive line. I think you have a lot of question marks for LSU on the offensive line. with some of the guys that they lost. And I just think that they're going to get after them at home. Crowd's obviously going to be in it. That place is going to be going insane. I would imagine. And then saw this again today, also on TikTok. LSU's not won a week one game since 2019.
Yep.
5 years. We're going on 5 straight years. Three of those have been Brian Kelly. And I don't know. I don't like I like LSU a lot this year. I think they're going to win the SEC. And the more I think about that, the more I really probably don't love that pick, but I got to stick by it at this point. But I just like Clemson. I just think that they're, I guess, kind of early nod to my playoff pick, Dald. I think Clemson's the only team that's going undefeated in the regular season. I think they're going 12-0. I don't think they're losing a game. I think Dabo is that good as a head coach, and he has a team like he's had before, similar, that is just you have experience, you have talent, like, and maybe it all goes wrong. Who knows? But I like Clemson in this game by maybe 7-10 points. So give me the Tigers of Clemson. That's crazy. Death Valley, Death Valley, Tigers, wild. Okay, we'll move on. Game of the week here, Dalt. You're looking forward to it. I know you are. Uh, we have your Texas Longhorns heading north in what I saw morning lows in Columbus on Saturday could be like in the high 40s. Wild.
Yeah.
I think like low
Chilly.
60s are the like kind of game time afternoon temps, like the highs in Columbus. So pristine fall football weather in Columbus, Ohio on Saturday. And we have the number one Texas Longhorns taking on the third ranked defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. A lot of storylines in this one as well, Dalt. But the line is Ohio State when I made the episode. So that's what we pick it at. Ohio State minus 2.5. 2.5. So basically, when you look at something like this, they are simply the favorite because it's at home.
Yep.
When it's that close, those two closely of ranked teams, like
And I
kind
believe
of
it's
this,
moved.
kind of the same way with Clemson LSU. If it's moved, if you want to pick it at whatever it's moved to, we can.
It's just moved to 1.5. It's
Yeah. So
essentially a pick 'em either way, but
so basically a pick 'em. So we'll pick it at 2.5. That's we
yeah.
we we try to stay true to what I made the episode notes a day or two ago. So 2.5 here, Dalt. I just have to believe you like your Longhorns. I would be hard pressed to say otherwise.
I've never picked against my Longhorns, and I'm never going to. So I mean, obviously, I'm going to take Texas plus 2.5 here. But for I have logical reasons to why I think that. All that's been made is the turnover on both sides. The turnover on the offensive line at Texas, the turnover at quarterback, running back, and on the defensive side of Ohio State. The turnover, Brian Hartline gets promoted to offensive coordinator with Chip Kelly leaving, and then they bring in uh, who's the defensive coordinator that Ohio State brought in? Matt Patricia.
Patricia. Yep.
Yeah, Matt Patricia, who hasn't called defensive plays in a long time. So, on one hand, Texas doesn't really know what you're going to get, and on the other hand, who's going to have 100% grasp on the defense at Ohio State? What I love about this is when in doubt, let your defense win it. And I'm a firm believer that Texas may have the best defense in the country. They have elite pass rushers, they have elite linebackers. The interior is where you wonder, and we're going to have to find out if they can stand up. The secondary is going to be anchored by two good safeties and a good corner. I lean towards Sark not letting Arch Manning make a mistake. You have a really good, you have a stable of good running backs behind Arch Manning. Arch Manning can use his legs. I just don't see a world where Texas lets Jeremiah Smith beat them. I would honestly say Texas plays two guys, maybe even three around Jeremiah Smith, and they put Manny Muhammad on Carnell Tate. And it's just like, hey, if Carnell Tate can go beat our best corner, congratulations. If Julian Saint can get him the ball, congratulations. Ohio State doesn't have the offensive line that they had last year either. So that is kind of where I'm confident in our defense being able to stop the run and then get after a first time starting quarterback. So I like Texas. I'm always going to like Texas, but I just feel like the dominoes fell the way they needed to fall for me to feel good about making this pick. I told you in the Cotton Bowl, I didn't love that Texas got put on the same side as Ohio State.
Yeah.
That is completely changed now. Like nothing. I'm not going to say that we're going to go up there and beat them like we did Michigan last year, but I have that same eerily good confidence about this game. So I like Texas plus 2.5.
I obviously don't like Texas. However, I'm a reasonable person. Texas, I think, is going to be really good, very good, better than I would like them to be. Um, just me personally. But I said this to a buddy of mine at work the other day, and I just think I'm going to stick to it. I think that Ohio State may win this game, but I think Texas is going to end up being the better team at the end of the year. And while I don't disagree with you necessarily, the Texas defense is going to be really good with what's Anthony Hill, linebacker. He's going to probably be the best linebacker in the country. Um, Colin Simmons, obviously off the edge. You do have to, again, replace your guys inside. I think you probably feel pretty good there. You know more, obviously, about that than I do. And then you look, I mean, both teams breaking in new quarterbacks. One of them's a true freshman, correct? And then,
Yes. I believe he went through bowl game practices, but
and so
he's
then you
he's either
have
true or a red shirt.
obviously Arch has played a few games, but this will be the biggest game of his career in college, without question. The games that he filled in for Quinn last year were against two non-cons and then Mississippi State, who might as well have been, they were maybe the worst team in the league a season ago. So, um, you had a moment last year when Arch came in against Georgia, and this is like, I don't know how good Ohio State's defense is going to be, but Arch came in against Georgia. He just looked a little flustered, like, but understandably so. Like, tough environment. Obviously, I mean, it was at home, but like it's Georgia. I'm not comparing Georgia last year to Ohio State this year, and so I just think so many people are quick. And again, I'm not trying to say Arch is not going to be good. I'm not none of that. I think he's going to be.
Clip it.
I think Arch is going to be a fine to good college. I think this is the only year you're going to have him, so better enjoy it. Maybe you may. I don't know. I would say if he's as good as you want him to be or hope for him to be, you won't have him again, most likely. But I could see him having some struggles in his first game on the road. Obviously, the shoe, tough place to play. But I'm just torn here because Ohio State also breaking a new quarterback, but just there's going to be stars on the field. Dalt, I love Jeremiah Smith. He might be the best player in quarterback in college football. And then you have the Downs kid on the defensive side for Ohio State. Obviously, I named a couple Texas guys on the defensive side of the ball. Like there's just really good players on both sides of the field for both teams. And frankly, I'm just giving Ohio State the edge because they're at home. Which, granted, they've gotten beat at home in recent years by a couple different teams, but I'm going Ohio State minus 2.5. As good as Sark's been great in these non-con games in his career at Texas as well. So that worries me a little bit. But like I said, I think Ohio State wins this game, but I think Texas is the better team at the end of the year. So I'm going to go Ohio State 2.5. But I don't. I don't feel good about it. I I I know you probably hate it, but I love that this game is actually at 11 o'clock
No,
because you
I'm
don't got to sit
not
around
mad
and
at
wait.
it.
You don't
Yeah,
got to
I'm
sit
not mad
around.
at it.
Don't got to
The,
sit around and wait all day
I
for it.
literally get to cry. I'm gonna sit here. I have my TV on my studio here. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna cry for 3 hours when Lee Corso says goodbye. I'm gonna cry
Yeah.
for 3 hours when Lee Corso says goodbye, and then I'm gonna watch my team kick the shit out of the defending national champions for the second year in a row.
Mm. Mm. Calling your shot. I don't hate it. Um, a lot of people saying it's going to be a full circle moment for Lee. He made his first ever headgear pick with Ohio State, and so they all think that he's going to pick Ohio State Saturday
He's
morning.
100% picking Ohio State.
Which I would say, but he likes both of those. He loves to wear both of those mascots. I feel like, and they are iconic. Obviously, Brutus and Bevo. But those are our picks, Dalt. I guess I'll recap real quick, and then we'll get into. I guess you have a super dog, right? In the bold
Yes, I
prediction.
do.
I didn't put it in the notes, but because I kind of forgot.
Yeah, you
Do
did.
you
It's in there. It says Super Dog.
do you have a bold prediction though?
Oh,
Can you come up
yeah.
with one? I mean,
I've already
not
said
right
it.
now.
Yeah, I've already said it, but yeah, I got it.
Okay, well, I'll recap these picks real quick. So for Auburn Baylor Friday night, we both like Auburn there, Dalt, at -2.5. Bama going to Florida State. I'm taking Florida State plus 13.5. You like Alabama -13.5. Notre Dame at Miami. We both like the Irish at -2.5 on Sunday night. Clemson LSU Saturday night. We both like the real Death Valley -3.5. And then Ohio State, Texas, big noon kickoff Saturday morning. You are obviously taking your Texas Longhorns at +2.5. I'm taking the home team, Ohio State, at -2.5. And so I've got our picks down, dog. Told you last week or the week before, I'm going to do a better job of keeping track of that. So we will have something at the end of the year to tell the listeners how terrible or good we did. Um,
I believe we've been doing this for how long now? 3 years?
three. This is our fourth year.
Yeah.
Fourth.
So
This is our fourth season.
how many of them years have you beaten me on picks?
None. I don't think. I don't think any. I'm not very good at this.
Well, one too
I
many times of taking Clemson.
I wonder why. Why do I do this? I love college football. I love to talk about college football. This is fun, but I also suck at it. So
This is a really good way for you to gamble without losing your house.
fair enough. All right, Dalt, you got a super dog?
Yes, my super dog is on the East Coast, and they are playing on the road. Let me pull up the spread one real quick minute. But my super dog is the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers traveling to Virginia. I believe it's they're plus 13 and a half dogs. I'm about to pull it up right. Hold on. I'm almost there. My phone locked on me. Yes. 12 and a half. Plus 12 and a half. Coastal plus 12 and a half at Virginia. 5 o'clock ACC network. If anybody really wants to tune in and watch that one.
I think the one that I'm going to take, Dalt, that I'm shocked that you're not, because considering you picked this team to win, so they could have been your super dog and just outright, victory. I'm going to take Syracuse Orange at plus 13.5 against Tennessee. I, however, do not think that they win the game like you do. Had some Tennessee fans upset about that as well.
I'm pissing all
Um,
kinds of fans off.
how we love it. It's what we do it for.
Oh,
But
it's it.
I'm going to take the. This game is a neutral site game. It's at the Mercedes Benz in Atlanta. So, obviously Tennessee will have more of a contingent. So it'll be more like a home game for them than Syracuse. However, neither one of us are that high on Tennessee, Dalt, and I just think Syracuse can keep this within 7 to 10. I think that the Tennessee offense might struggle a little bit, kind of getting their feet under them. New quarterback in Aguilar, and Syracuse, they're fun. Why not?
Yeah,
Give
go
me
Orange.
Syracuse plus 13.5 on
Got a
that one.
5-star wide receiver on that team.
Yeah. All right, Dalt. You got a bold prediction?
What a great segue into my bold prediction. My bold prediction is that the Syracuse Orange beat the almighty Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, I mean, it.
And and the Cook kid that transferred from Texas to Washington to Syracuse is going to go off. Superstar corners be damned at Tennessee.
Well, I mean, that's. I can't blame you there. I'm honestly I'm reeling here, Dalt. I'm looking. Okay, I got one. Why not?
That's
This is fun. Why not?
oh boy.
Uh, Another Sunday game, also same stadium. I'm gonna say Virginia Tech upsets South Carolina, week one.
Hmm.
Give me the Hokies. Obviously, again, South Carolina, chill out. I mean, just everybody this week, Dalton. We're like clip farming, but yeah, it's a bold prediction. I would have picked in the preseason South Carolina to win this game. Obviously, if it wasn't bold, it wouldn't be a bold prediction. Give me a Kyron Drones legacy game, and they beat the Gamecocks, in which starts the downward spiral that we all predicted for South Carolina in 2025. So, with that, Dalt, we're 45 minutes in, give or take. Um, let's get into these playoff picks. And I'll be honest with you, I don't love mine. Shocker. But I have something here. I guess what I want to do, Dalt. I don't want to do some kind of scientific deep dive into this. Obviously, you have your list, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I have mine. We're just going to kind of read it off. You can say which of these teams you obviously are going to have your four. It's a little different this year, right? Like
Yep.
you're not guaranteed a bye as one of the conference
Yeah.
champions.
Top four
So it's
teams
just the
is a
top four
bye.
teams.
The the top five champions
And
get
so
get in, but they're not getting an automatic bye.
if you want to, you can just, I guess we can talk about it a little, but I just kind of just figure we kind of can go down through here, name our teams, obviously the ones that you have winning winning the conference. You can say that they're going to be the conference champion,
Yeah.
and then the other ones obviously are just you're at large. So if you want to get into yours, I'll give you the floor.
Yep. So my number one team in the country, and I do believe we're going to have the same number one team in the country, is the going to be 13-0 Clemson Tigers. My number two, the ACC champion Clemson Tigers. My number two team is the SEC champion, the 12-1 Texas Longhorns. My number three team is the Big Ten champions, the 12-1. Yes, yeah, or 11-2 Big Ten champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number four, I have Notre Dame, who I believe is probably going to be 11-1, 10-0, or 12-0. But the no conference championships, I feel like it's going to hurt them. Number five, I have Penn State, the runner up in the Big Ten. Number six, Alabama, who's the runner up in the SEC. Number seven, Georgia. Number eight, I have Kansas State, who I picked to win the Big 12. Kind of regretting that one now. Number nine, I have the I believe 11-1 or 10-2 Nebraska Cornhuskers. I went back and forth on my number 10 spot with who I wanted to pick out of the SEC, either LSU or Florida, and I ended up going LSU at the 10 spot. Number 11, the ACC runner up, my ACC runner up, the Louisville Cardinals. And then I picked Memphis. I know everybody's still high on Boise State, but I think Memphis is going to be this year's highest ranked group of five champion. A lot of people loved UNLV until they beat some
Won by a
nobody school by
touchdown.
like six.
Yeah, Dan Mullen. I saw they have some. I saw a video about UNLV, and they have some guys on that team. Like, who was it? Denver Harris is on that team. Several guys that you would know that were highly
Yeah,
recruited guys that
the
Dan
The
Mullen has
Texas
kind of,
A&M number one class.
yeah, that he's kind of poached.
Yeah,
Okay, well, our lists or our picks are similar. I mean, I would say we have, I think, the same teams except two, and it's our last two, but they're not in the same order.
yeah.
But my number one team, yes, the same. Get into mine. Clemson. Think they're going to be 13-0 ACC champs. Think they're the only. I think they're going to be the only undefeated team going into the playoff. Uh, Now, will they win the national title like a lot of people think? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I've got them at number one. And then number two, I have my SEC champ, LSU. I still, the more and more I think about it, I don't love the pick, but I've got LSU winning the SEC. I think the SEC champion is going to be the number two overall seed behind Clemson, who's going to be 13-0. So I like LSU at two. At number three, I took my Big Ten champ, Penn State. Picking James Franklin to win the Big Ten just crushes me, but that's the hand I'm dealt. So I got Penn State at three, and then I've got my SEC runner-up, your Texas Longhorns at four. So those are my top four seeds. Those are your first round buys. Um, and then at five, I've got Alabama. So I think Alabama gets there. I think they're going to be a really good team, but I think they just miss out on the SEC championship, and that doesn't necessarily hurt them. Obviously, you don't get that first round bye, but I've got them at five. Number six, I've got Notre Dame, and then at number seven, I've got Ohio State, who I don't have in the Big Ten championship, but I think they finish 10-2, whatever. However, that will unfold. I've not broken that down entirely, but I have them missing the Big Ten championship, but it's not necessarily going to totally hurt them in the
Yeah.
long run. So I've got them at seven. I've got Georgia at eight. Not a lot of. I feel like Georgia's not like. How do we feel about Georgia? Not to kind of get into it, but like neither one of us picked Georgia in the SEC. Did either of us even have them in the championship game? You had Bama,
No,
Texas, right?
yeah, I had Bama, Texas. I think with Georgia, I think everybody. I mean, not I wouldn't say everybody, because heaven forbid anybody pick Georgia to go 10-2, and Kirby Smart have any window or any bulletin board stuff saying they they suck and everybody's counting them out when they're 12-0. But I think a lot of question at quarterback. The run game was very inconsistent last year, and we kind of feel like that's something they're going to lean on. And
Yeah,
can they do it? Kirby's. I said this in probably June. I said, does this feel like a year where Kirby Smart has to just absolutely coach his ass off?
yeah,
And
kind
we
of
kind of
does.
all agreed on that. So I think that's kind of where we're pumping the brakes on Georgia,
Yeah,
and it's a tough schedule.
yeah, absolutely. Which they do get their toughest games at home, though.
Yes.
Okay, to continue, I have Kansas State at nine. I think they're going to be at least a two-loss conference champ now at this point,
Yeah.
because of them losing that week zero game. I would not have predicted that, obviously, but we both picked them as the Big 12 champ, and the Big 12 champ's going to be in the playoff. So got them at nine. I have the Big 10 runner-up, Nebraska, who I took losing to Penn State. I have them at 10. So I think I have them beating Ohio State in the regular season, and then or I don't know how it works out, but I had them losing to Penn State in that regular season matchup, and then losing again, and so they're going to be that second loss in the conference championship might be their third loss, So I think it's going to drop them, but I think that they're still going to be a playoff team
Yeah.
in the Big Ten. So got them at 10. And then my number 11, Dalt, this is my sleeper, I guess. My ACC runner up,
Oh, I
Florida
already
State.
know. I already know.
I got Florida State at number 11 as my ACC. This is a long shot, I feel like. Long shot. Uh, RIP, BP, you had them last year. I'm taking them this year. I I don't know if I like it any more than we probably did last year, but that's where we're at. I was sitting
But
here,
you would think the ACC runner up would get in,
right.
unless
So
unless
if
they're
they have
like 8-4, 9-3,
right,
or something like that.
if they have the year that I think they have, I think they go in, 10-3, maybe 11-2, losing the ACC championship. And then my 12, I don't know. I just did it, I guess, because like you said last year, I've got Boise State at 12. I didn't put a lot of thought into the group of five.
I didn't
I
look
don't
it
know
up
that
either.
I don't know that anybody felt great about Boise State going into last year, but I feel like it was them and Memphis was talked about a lot last year. But everybody knew that Boise State had Ashton Genty,
Tulane last year.
and yeah, a lot of people like Tulane. And I just don't feel like there's really a team that stands out to me. A lot of people talked about UNLV. You obviously are taking Memphis. I would
So
say I don't hate that, but
kind of a team that I forget all about that we really don't talk about. How good is Navy going to be?
yeah, I mean,
I mean, I don't necessarily think that they're going to be good enough to
yeah, I mean
get in,
that's
but they
a team
they were well good.
you got to throw them in there. So,
Yep.
but I got Boise State, so that's my playoff prediction. We will get those posted on the socials this probably tomorrow. I'll try to get that done and get them out there for everybody to see, so they can put kind of eyes on it like we did last year. But that's your playoff prediction. That's mine. You know, I guess I've got how many? Do we have the same amount? I've got three Big Ten, four SEC, right? Yeah,
Yes.
four
Yep.
SEC, two ACC, obviously the independent, one Big
One Big 12.
12, and
Yep.
one G5.
Yep.
Is that I
That
guess same for you?
yes, because I mean Notre
We
Dame takes away
yeah
one of the Big Ten or SECs or even potentially ACC,
yeah,
the ACC runner-up spot.
and so
They're kind
you
of
look
the wild card.
you look across the board. A lot of people like Miami to make the playoff. Neither of us have them. Um, and then we talked about adults. Several of these SEC teams, I think that we didn't name, they have a chance. Like obviously, everybody has a chance right now, but a lot of these teams, they maybe have the talent, have the games on the schedule to do it. It's just will they do it? Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you
so
got Florida, Texas A&M, just to name a few. Like it's
well, yeah. I mean, like for
South
instance,
Carolina.
we both talked about really A&M, Florida. You'd mentioned it about Oklahoma. I'm not there with my Sooners yet, but like we talked about all those teams that they have the potential to go 10-2. Like if everything goes right, like it could happen. Will it? Maybe not. Maybe you just don't know. But um, another team that neither of us had, Dalton, Michigan. Don't really know what we're going to find out a lot about Michigan probably week two. Same with Oklahoma that matchup, but just to kind of touch on a few teams that we I guess kind of left out. That's really about it though. I mean, as far as like big name brands, I like there's just nobody that comes to mind. The Big 12, we only have one Big 12 team, both of us, and it's Kansas State. I just don't think that I don't know that the Big 12 is ever going to be a two team league. Like
Well,
I
they're
think it,
going to cannibalize each other.
yeah, and you just don't have a team that's that dominant. We both have Kansas State. A lot of people like Arizona State and Tech in that conference. And right now, looking at it, I maybe do as well. But we picked Kansas State, so we kind of have to at this point, in our preview. But it's just a conference that at the most you're ever going to get is two, and it's going to take some probably help from around, because like the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get three or four pretty much every year. Like it just is what it is. So that's our playoff prediction. That's our week one preview, Dalt. We're right here at an hour, so we'll get out of here. Again, just want to say thanks to all our listeners, everybody online. That like I said, we had a kind of a banner week on social media. Had a lot of interaction. I appreciate, if any of you guys listen to the pod, we obviously appreciate it. Hope you continue to show us some love or hate, whichever you choose. We can
We're not
handle it
picky.
all.
We're not picky.
And if you find us on social media, share it, tell your friends about it. If you find it, remotely entertaining or whatever, say, hey, listen to these two dumbasses talk about college football.
We've been called. I've been called that a lot. There's 163 comments of Arkansas fans calling me dumbass. So do
Well,
not
like you
think you're
said,
going to
hey,
hurt our feelings.
Arkansas is going 10-2, man. Like how do you not see that, Dalt?
Arkansas is going 10-2. South Carolina's going 10-2. Tennessee's
Florida,
going 10-2. Florida's
Florida.
going 10-2. The whole SEC is going 10-2.
The only, I think our only post that we didn't have negative comments actually was our video about Oklahoma, and that's
Yeah.
because we really weren't like, we didn't really say anything negative too much about Oklahoma.
No, and then I had to call one OU fan a jackass, so I got my quota. So
Uh,
no, it's fun. We're not you're not gonna hurt our feelings. I can promise you that.
yeah. Well, anyway, like, share, give us a follow on all. We're on all socials. Obviously, you guys know where to find us. I've said it a million times. So, with that, Dald, I'm looking forward to a good week one of college football. Should be great. Can't wait.
Great week one.
Labor Day weekend, so we get a long weekend on top of everything else. So with that, if you don't have anything else, Dald, we'll get ready tomorrow night to get set down to watch some college football, and we'll get out of here. So we're out.
Don't forget to cover the flats.